Baby boomers are in big trouble, huge trouble. They're trying to retire or they're retired. Inflation is eating them alive. Cost of living is just going through the roof. They didn't plan. None of them planned. Well, a couple did. Most didn't. You know why I know? Because I'm a baby boomer. Most of my clients are baby boomers, and I consult with them all the time. I consult every week with them. I have people crying in my office because they can't get by. Maybe they're retired 10 years old, they're 74, 75 years old, and they haven't got enough money. There's a problem. You want to be 75 years old and be broke? That's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. So there's a huge retirement crisis in this country. In the United States of America, one of the richest countries in the world, we've got people living on the streets that are retired. How awful is that? This is just terrible. Let me go to my next slide. Let's talk about what we can do about this. Let's be kind to these people. You see them all the time in Starbucks or Safeway or Albertsons or Home Depot. They're ringing up your goods. They're 80 years old, for God's sakes, and they're putting your bag of nails in a box at Home Depot. This is not right. This is something wrong with it. So, some of it's their fault. They didn't plan. But a lot of stuff is outside their control. They were told to just save your money. Save your money. I mean, my parents were told, save your money. My father thought if he had $100,000, he was like one of the richest men in the world. He just thought that he would be living on. He never made it. And then he retired at 63 years old, lived till be, 70. And he had nothing, lived in a double wide trailer. In the meantime, I'm trying to get my way through life, and we finally made it. It's too bad he's not alive now. I could really have helped him. And I could have helped a lot. So I want you to listen to this, because if you're 55 years old or 50 years old, you are going to be in this boat with the rest of them in the not too distant future. And here's the problem. We're going to live to be a lot older than you think. You're going to live way beyond what my father lived to be. The average baby boomer lives to be like 85 years old. It means you're going to be in retirement at least 20 years. Your wife probably be in retirement 30 years. Do you want your wife living on the street when she's 90 years old? Do you want her pouring coffee at Starbucks at 90 years old? I was at Safeway. There's a guy's got to be, he's 20 years older than me, and he's pushing two carts, working for Safeway. He's not there to be social. He's there to make sure his electricity stays on. And it's a problem in our country. And we can do something about it. I'm going to give you some hints. We can talk about it. I'll certainly take your comments about this and let me know what's going on in your life. But I consult all the time. And this is my mission, is for you not to do this. I want you to retire rich. If you've been following my videos, we're talking about an opportunity coming in the not too distant future. It's not here now. I get paid when I sell you a property. I've been in the real estate business for God's sakes. And I'm telling you, not yet. It's not yet, but it's coming. And when you do, you're gonna make a lot of money. And maybe we can do something about that. So let me go to my first slide. Let's just talk about what's going on, because this is what's happening. We have 10,000 baby boomers every single month, every single day, retiring. Every day. Not a month. This is every single day. We have 10,000 baby boomers. They can't wait to retire. Cannot wait to retire. Get that free check. They all think Social Security is a free check. I can't wait to get my free check. Well, it's not a free check. This is something that you put aside, and this is what you're getting. But it's limited. There's not that, most people just don't get it. And here's the problem: is they're retiring, with next to nothing. They're basically broke, and in 10 or 15 years, they're completely gone. So the average retiree has only got about $35,000 in net worth. It's just awful. I don't even know. You can't retire if you don't have $1 million. You can't retire if you don't have $75,000 or $80,000 in passive income outside of your Social Security. You can't retire. Go to the next slide. And I'm going to tell you, this is my market. Is that the number one concern for virtually everybody once you get to be 45 years old, particularly if you're in the medical business. Man, at 45 years old, you've been in business for 20 years as someone in the medical industry, a dentist or a doctor or a surgeon, a psychologist. They're just burned out. But they now have a lifestyle. They got kids going to school, and they're stuck. So they just cannot wait. The greatest wish they have, they can't wait, is to retire. And it starts at 55. By the time they're 60, man, I'm going to tell you, it's like they wake up in the morning. That's all they can think about is, when can I retire? But it's a crisis. I'm telling you, it is just a travesty. So this is what I'm here to do, to explain to you why, if you take fixed income and savings, which is what my parents were told, save your money, get some CDs. My folks were the typical retiree. They had a couple of CDs for about $40,000. They had a double wide in Texas that they lived on, and they had Social Security. They had about $20,000, $25,000 coming in a year, and it was really fine for the first few years. And then these things started happening. My dad only lived like 7 years in retirement. My mom lived another 12, but they didn't have enough money. They just didn't have enough money. And if you have fixed income and savings, you are going to be guaranteed that you're a pauper. All of this is going to go away. It is all going to go away. So let me go to my next slide. Let's talk about that. Look at this. And here's the culprit. Now, this is Federal Reserve electronic data system going back from January 1st, 1913. Now, I know that's 110 years ago, but 110 years ago, $1,000 is only worth $31 today. That's how badly the dollar has depreciated. Just a straight line, straight down, 97%. Now, do you think that's going to stop? You think that's going to stop, magically stop? Now, look, I brought this back to a little sooner, 1947, because that's where this data came from for a consumer price index. And a basket of goods in 1947 was $22. Now that same basket costs $315. You starting to get the drift of this? So let's take this back to the last 10 years, October 2014 to October 2024. So it was $237. It's now $315. So your basket of goods has gone up 25% in 10 years. And that means that the dollar purchasing has gone down by the same amount, 25%. So depreciation and basically inflation just eat you alive. So this is taken away. It's just like reaching into your pocket and taking 25% away. It's like saying you don't deserve this. You don't get it. It's insidious. You don't see it. It just happens. And people are all of a sudden find out, my gosh, I'm shocked. How did this happen? How is it that gas cost me $3.50 a gallon? It was $1.80 when I retired. How much does it cost now to get a plumber? A handyman. They want $50 to $80 an hour. Things change. And if you don't protect yourself and change with them, you are going to be steamrolled. You'll be living on the street. And we're living longer than we think. We are living way longer than we think. You don't want to be 85 or 90, 95 years old out of money. You'd be like that guy pushing 2 carts for, if he's making like $12 an hour. You don't want that. You don't have to do that. It's not necessary. If we just plan a little bit, you can do that. Let me go to my next slide and let's just talk about that. Because there's a couple of, this is why I'm doing this. This is what made me rich. The cost of rent has increased every year since 1941, except for the great financial crisis where it leveled off. I was here in Phoenix, it leveled off then. And rent has increased 52.3% in the last 10 years. So inflation went up 25, rent went up 52. What does that tell you? This is not rocket science. Inflation went up 25%, rent went up 52%. You made money on that. So not only did you preserve your purchasing power, you made money. How hard is that? And we can do that for you. Let me go to my next slide and let's just talk about that. Let me open it up. You're going to, this is just a little hard to believe. Now, I'm going back into the Federal Reserve electronic data system. So here's the median price. In the last 10 years, homes have gone up 40%. So not only did you get cash flow, but you got capital gains as well. And it's above. Remember, we had inflation 25%. So the cost of rent went up 52%. Cost of homes went up 40%. Both exceeded the inflation. So we talk about the just two strategy. Just two strategy. Look at I know a lot of people think, well, it costs too much money to buy a house. It doesn't. We have strategies we can get you into these things. And remember, we want to get it free and clear. So here in Phoenix, which I consider probably one of the greatest markets in the entire world, if you had 10 properties free and clear, and you can do that. You can do that. 10 free and clear properties in Phoenix, Arizona are going to give you $180,000 net after everyone is paid. And that's including a property manager is paying your taxes, insurance. We're accounting for vacancy factor. We're accounting for repairs. We're accounting for cost of sales because we're going to pay someone to lease these things for you. Putting your HOA, putting everything in, you're still going to get $180,000 a year for the rest of your life. Your property manager will send it anywhere in the world that you want. You want to go on a world cruise, they'll keep putting this money in your checking account, savings account, whatever account you want, they'll pay whatever you want. They'll send you $180,000 a year. This is very doable. And I have an opportunity coming in the next 9 to 12 months. I think we can probably do really, really well. So please, I'm pleading with you. Talk to your financial advisors. Maybe we can do a call, $200-300 will get you set up, and you can come in and talk with me. We'll do a Zoom if you want. And we'll get you, see whether we're a good fit for you or and you're a good fit for me. And we'll make some plans for you and get you at least two. Now figure two. So the average retiree's got $40,000-50,000 a year. Nowhere near enough. But if you had two rentals on top, we just say two because they're going to help you. They're not going to save you, but they're going to help you. And you get two, and that's going to give you another $3,000 a month. So that would get you up around $80,000 a year. Now you're talking at least a little bit. And at $80,000, that those rentals are going to track inflation. So I'd really like to get you, and once you start getting, here's the ticket for me. So once you start getting this check coming to you every month, you're going to want more. So most of our clients have way more than $15,000 a month coming to them. A lot of them get that $25,000-30,000 a month. So this is good for you. It's good for me, and we have an opportunity coming. So let me go to my next slide. Let's just talk about what we can do or what we can't do. So if you don't do this, this is where you're going to be. I'm telling you, most of these people get less than $20,000, $22,000 a year because they only get 20 hours a week. You don't want to be 90 years old, ringing it up at Albertsons or Target or Home Depot, and have 41.9 million Americans living on Social Security. That's all they get. About 35% of retirees, all they get is Social Security. But look at this. 8.8 million Americans over 65 live in poverty, and that is up from 6.6 just 3 years ago. 8.8 million Americans live in poverty. Do you want to be 80 years old and not have any money? That you can't go out and buy yourself a nice meal, get a new shirt, go to the movies, pay for internet? We don't want you to do that. This is a travesty. You work all your life. We want you to have a really good life. And you know this. For the last couple of years, you've seen what happens. And this has been happening slowly, even at 2.5 or 3% inflation, which is what we've had for the last 10 years, 20 years. It just eats you out. If you don't have something to help with this, it just eats you alive. So I'm pleading with you to do this. Let me go to the next slide and let's see what we can talk about here. I've used this slide many, many times before. Most people just retire with less than $10,000. Even if only 14% have over $300,000. And if you have $300,000, they put you on the Bengen rule that gives you $12,000 a year. Now, this is coming right out of Fidelity. Fidelity says they get 60 to 69 years old. The average American savings in their retirement accounts, not the median, but the average is $229,000. It's not even $300,000. So, and average, of course, is more than the median because, you get the average, you get people that are billionaires and they've got all kinds of money in their retirement accounts, and it throws off the numbers. And here's what we see. We see that 75 years and older is the fastest growing labor participation rate in the United States. That's because people, if they have 200,000 or the 300,000 we're talking about, they have $300,000. The Bengen rule, 4%. you're going to get, it's 12,000 a year. 4% of 300,000 is 12 grand. And you can get $1,000 a month. Well, $1,000 a month gives you nothing. You're 65, 66 years old, not working. You and your wife want to go on a couple of cruises. You want to go to Europe. You want to go to, China. You want to go ride across the United States on bicycles, or buy a motorhome and go have some fun. Well, you dip into your savings, you dip into your retirement. And what I'm finding is that after 10 years, you spend it all. That's why when they're 75 or 80 years old, at 10 or 15 years of retirement, they're broke, because they spend it all, because they need the extra money to get by, because they don't have enough. And we want to do something about that. We can do that. And you're going to have an opportunity coming to you. If you look at my other videos, you know what we're talking about. By the way, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Man, oh man, does that help with YouTube? So if you don't get something going for yourself and protect yourself from depreciating dollar and inflation, all the eventualities that come to us, and we're going to live so much longer. My dad lived to almost 70 years old. It used to be, the generation before me, 70 was a pretty old guy. Now it's 85, 90. My wife could very well live to be 100. And I have prepared that she could live with me in retirement for 30 or 40 years. So I have to do that. And, I'm not going to put into savings, and we need to have some kind of an investment vehicle to do that. And I'm telling you, we have one, and we have an opportunity coming. So you know where I'm at. You can call me with West USA Realty here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's 602-942-4200. They hold my license. They're $1 billion firm. They do our back office compliance and our paperwork. And if I can help in any way, my best to you guys. Bye-bye now.